Good morning. Look at that. Is that beautiful? Geraniums. Hey, I can see you. And now you can see me. And my loopy hair. Lipstick of the day is Beauty Counter Raisin. One of my favorites. Okay. I just woke up. Wednesdays are tough. And those of you following my Chic Sparrow journey, my Traveler's Notebook journey, this is an A5 size in creme brulee. Absolutely fabulous. I put a Hobonichi, well, there's one A5 size insert in it. And then I put a Hobonichi, no, this is not a Hobonichi. This is Nanami Paper Company, Cafe Notes. But it's the same Tomoe River paper that comes in a Hobonichi. And it is amazing. So that'll be my journal. I'm switching to a really thick journal. I've been using Moleskine extra large notebooks for years for journals. But this is the 7 C's. I'm sorry. It's Nanami Paper Company. NANAMI paper.com. It's the A5, the 7 C's. They have a similar book that comes in a B6 or a B6 Slim with the Tomoe River paper, and it's called a Cafe Notes because it's small and you can write in a cafe with it. Anyway, this gives me a really good excuse to own more than one of these A5 squishy, spongy creme leather, CREME. Oh, God. I can't even tell you. It's big enough I could use it for a pillow. I'm not even kidding. I love it so much. It makes my daily practice fabulous. And if you didn't see yesterday, I did a Facebook Live on appreciation versus gratitude. So in my daily journaling, I'm going to be adding a section for just appreciating. You're using, I sent you the one with lines, right? I wondered if I had done, I was looking for it and I was like, where's that extra one? And I was like, I think I sent it to my mother. Here's what we're talking about today. But let's real quick have a card draw first from Sacred Rebels Oracle. I don't know. I really don't follow astrology too closely. I really hate it when someone puts me in a box of, well, you're a this or you're a that, so therefore this or that. I really don't like that at all. I don't like personality typing systems and things like that being used as a predictor of characteristics or behavior or as an explanation for characteristics and behavior. I think they're interesting, and they are a time saver if you're a coach or a therapist. But just be careful and not get rigid about it. Anyway, that's my soapbox about, I was watching the Pele report. So that said, I do sometimes check in with the Pele report. Thanks for the inviting followers. I think it's just me and you today. And there's a lot planetarily going on with lots and lots of stuff going on with Aries. But what's been going on with me personally is feeling like maybe I should do something and being told very clearly to do nothing. And how that's been showing up is our 2 possum friends, Pete and Penelope. Yes, we named them. They love old cat food and apples. They don't like carrots. I won't keep feeding them either because it's naughty to feed wild animals. I shouldn't be feeding them at all. However, I've had a couple of close encounters with the really large one who I call Pete. And there's a smaller one that I'm calling Penelope. And they do eat mice and fleas, of which we have an abundance of here in the Valley of the Grandmothers. So I'm happy to, give them a snack here and there. We don't have dogs anymore, so. Possum energy is to lay low, fly under the radar, don't really do anything, don't rattle your cage too much or anybody else's too much, which seems weird to me. And I've been drawing cards the same way because I don't feel like there's anyone attacking me unless it's behind the scenes. So I've had some cards like that. When someone's attacking you, just let it go or whatever. I'm like, unless somebody's attacking me behind the scenes, I don't know about it. So if you're talking smack behind the scenes about me, nothing I can do about it. Anyway, I got another card with the same thing, message to that today. To do nothing, to just chill. And his report was saying that as well. So if you're feeling pressured to move, but you can't see where or what you should do, just don't do anything at all. Just wait. Let's have a little quick card. Legacy of Light. This is a nice one. And then we'll get to our book. Legacy of Light from the Sacred Rebels deck. And also the link in my title today takes you to my only single session. And you have to have some skills for that single session. You can have just a brainstorming, problem-solving session, or you can have a reading. The single session is 111, and if you add a reading to it, an intuitive reading, that's 159. So let me read a little bit about this card to you real quick, and we'll move on to our book. You are being asked to honor the legacy of light that is your sacred birthright. Take nourishment and support from those who have come before you. The more you are nourished by a legacy of light from your past, the more you become a bearer of the legacy for those that will be supported by your light in the future. This is a sacred endowment from the great universal source of light to humanity. So this card comes when you need confirmation that a creative choice you are making or have made or soon will make is one that is in alignment with your sacred purpose and spiritual path of healing and growth. That's another thing I saw in Anne Orderly's. Oh God, there's the neighbor dog. Well, I'll feed him when I'm done. I'm sure he'll be back if I don't get to it in time. Was to, if you're being offered a choice, if it feels at all enlivening, take it. The legacy of light cannot be ignored without detriment to your sense of well-being. What is that sound? Sounds like the cats are getting into something they shouldn't be. If you were asking about a particular question, I wasn't. Part of the answer to your question is that the issue at hand is one of utmost importance to your spiritual growth. The energy around this matter is relevant to your sacred birthright to shine. Okay, so shine, amplify your light, draw on the light of those who have come before you, and project your own light into the future. Family and spiritual ancestry is relevant now. And acknowledge your creativity. Stay true to yourself. Pretty good, solid information there. Okay. Stay true to yourself. Acknowledge your creativity. Honor it. Amplify it. Okay. So, interesting that it is Wednesday, right? Let me see if I can share this on Twitter too. Looks like I can. Okay, let me just go. Maybe it's just mom and daughter time today. Messy Magnificent Life, A Field Guide by Geneen Roth. Excellent book. Highly recommend it. Talks a lot about food and food issues, which are relevant to every aspect of our lives. Okay, so chapter 5 is If I Were Gloria Steinem. My friend Dave once told me that a friend is someone you call when you need to move. A good friend is someone you call when you need to move a body. Isabel is the body-moving kind of friend. Recently, though, she has become a conspiracy theorist. She is convinced that there is a cabal, a congregation of evil lizard people called the Draco, whose intent is to control and ultimately destroy humanity. According to her, the attacks of September 11th were orchestrated by the cabal, or cabal, I guess, C-A-B-A-L. So were Paris and ISIS itself. Vanity Fair, Vogue, movie stars, billionaires are all controlled by the lizard people. She maintains that for selling your soul, they grant you fame, success, and gushes of money, after which you're forever owned by them. It's like the Matrix, but in real life. We are puppets of the cabal. We think we are free, but we're being hypnotized and manipulated by the ones in power. Well, how do I know I'm not part of the cabal, I ask her. Maybe they got me in my sleep. You're not important enough, she says. That's how you know, because you're just some loser. You're not important enough. But despite all the websites she cites, the so-called evidence she reels off, I don't believe in the cabal or in objective evil. I do believe there are, and have always been, confused, misguided people who commit insane acts. Although it seems as if there was an insane world out there, it makes no sense to me that there is an out there that isn't also in here, in different circumstances, with no money, no food, and the promise of a heavenly afterlife. I too might be capable of violence. It already doesn't take too much for well-fed, velvet-clothed me to believe that those who cross me, the aggressive driver on the freeway, the basketball analyst Charles Barkley when he disses Steve Curry, anyone who disagrees with me, really, are my enemies and must be vanquished. The day after my conversation with Isabel, I heard Gloria Steinem interviewed on NPR's program Fresh Air about her book, My Life on the Road, and it got me thinking about the cabal again. Gloria said one of the ways the patriarchy controls women is by controlling their reproductive rights and therefore their bodies. She referred to a 1970s panel on abortion. It was comprised of 10 men and a nun. You can't make these things up, she said. Then when she was asked about today's most pressing women's issues, and she mentioned domestic violence, genital mutilation, rape, and sex trafficking, I kept waiting for her to mention women in weight, but she didn't. Because it's almost always defined as a mundane matter of willpower or sloth, food gets ignored as a political issue. When Gloria was asked about her relationship with food, she mentioned her father, who weighed 300 pounds and believed that anything could be cured by a malted and a movie. I kind of like that prescription for happiness. Have a malted, go to a movie. He was sort of right about that, she said laughingly, and added that she herself still had a weakness for sweets. That was the point at which I wanted to say, wait, Gloria, you're missing something. I don't know of a single woman, and I've been allowed entry into the inner lives of hundreds of thousands of them, who hasn't struggled with the size of her body. And when a woman's energy is tied up in judging her body, it ties up her power as well. If you're spending all your power on the size and shape and the number and the what's going in your mouth and what should and shouldn't and all that tangled up pressure, how much power do you have to change the world? If all your attention is focused on, I got to change my body and then I can change the world, you won't ever do anything that changes anything, including your body. Might this be another way patriarchy controls women's bodies, by hypnotizing us into believing we must be thin in order to have value or authority? If I wanted to silence half the population of the world, the ones most likely to oppose war and guns, I can't think of a better way to do it. Expecting a woman to stand up for what she knows while convincing her that she must first be thin is like binding a Chinese woman's feet and asking her to run a marathon. We don't need a cabal to enthrall or manipulate or silence us. We've done it ourselves, with limitless assistance of the patriarchal systems, by channeling most of our lives' energy into having thinner thighs. This doesn't mean we should join the fat acceptance movement or only blame men for trying to control our bodies. Even if this whole brouhaha with women, food, and weight is a way to silence us by keeping us focused on impossible goals, we'd still have to do the same thing. Stop allowing it. You still have to take your power back. You can spend a little while in blame and being angry about that, and then you have to figure out what to do about it. It's not fair, but you still have to make the choice and take some actions. When we realize we've had duct tape over our mouths for decades, there's only one thing to do, and that's tear it off. Our power is not in blaming or shaming, but in waking up from the collective trance in which we've been living. We use the same arms we've been told are too fat, and we uncover the same mouths we've been told are too loud, and we start telling the truth about what we already know, but don't want to know we know. That is all such good stuff. And then you have to kind of play around with the timing of that. And I was talking, I can't remember who I was talking to. I think I was talking in a personal session and then in a group session, where once you do rip the duct tape off and start your own barking, you might go too far the other way. Like you might have to work on your diplomacy and your tact and your communication skills. You might even want to take a basic communication skills class. because once that torrent starts boiling out, it can come out in some pretty rough ways. And when that happens, I mean, that's not what you want either, right? You don't want to steamroll people and shred them into ribbons with your words. But it is what happens when you haven't spoken for a really long time and then you decide you've had enough. Yeah, it can just, it's like a backlog, a log jam, and you open the log of your throat chakra and all that stuff comes out. It can be pretty rough. So be aware that that's part of the process. If you're a person who's working on speaking up, be aware that there can come a time when you will be speaking up. You really will be speaking up too much. Or too roughly. Let's not say too much. Let's say too roughly. So why not prepare yourself and read a few basic communication skills books. Usually you can find those in the sales section, the business section of Barnes & Noble. Or you can just Google communication skills and just find one and brush up on them before you start boiling out. There are many ways of truth-telling, but the best way I know is to ask questions and be relentlessly honest in answering them. And this includes questions of ourselves. Is it true that when I lose weight, I'll have the body and therefore the life I want? Have I ever lost weight? How many times? So you can replace this, if you don't struggle with your weight, you can replace this with money. Is it true that when I have money, I will have the life I want? Is it true? I mean, how many times have I had money? How many times have I lost money? Aside from having money, did it fix my relationships with friends, family, or colleagues? And if it's such a cure-all, why don't I have it now? Why don't I do more to retain it? Why don't I do more to invest it so that it makes more money? Because whatever it is you think is going to fix your problem, I can 100% guarantee you is not. Because that's not what the problem actually is. If there was a cabal, or if the patriarchy was entrancing women into silence, the $60 billion weight loss industry would be proof that they were winning. The fact that we are frightened of our hungers and our strength would be proof. And hungers can be for food or for power or for ambition or for freedom, for creativity. The way our energy gets trapped in dieting over and over and over again would seal the deal. I love this. If your doctor said, I have a cure for you, but there's a 99% chance it won't work, and I know you've tried it 5 or 20 times and it saps your energy, makes you feel worthless, and keeps you stuck in the rest of your life, would you do it again and again and every year for as long as you live? How many of us are doing that with money programs? How many of us are doing or have done with body image or weight loss stuff? Right here. Probably, I got rid of all my diet books, but probably at one point in my library was mostly diet books and money books, prosperity books. How much time and energy have we spent on making sure every day we do whatever it takes to feel good? What's that? Crickets? Can you imagine if we took the time and resources that we've spent pursuing money and applied it to pursuing our own joy, our own happiness? Can you imagine how life would be? This isn't to say don't think your negative thoughts. Go ahead and think them. Just don't stay stuck in them. Acknowledge them. Ask them if there's something you need. Ask them if there's something you need to do. Acknowledge that. You can't stop that. And then, what now? What do I need to do now? Do I need to take a walk? Do I need to feed the scrawny neighborhood dog? Although he's not scrawny anymore, because let me tell you, he's eating fat at the wolf den. He's up there pacing, waiting for breakfast. He's deaf to her, I would call to him. When you tell the truth, when you see that as much as you say you want to lose weight, you're keeping it on so you don't have to engage in those parts of being alive that seem more challenging than losing weight, you can begin making different decisions about the way you spend your energy. Carolyn Meese, the author of Why People Don't Heal, once said to me, imagine you have $1 of life energy to spend every day. You have $1 of life energy to spend every day. How do you spend it? Start spending that buck differently. Start today, even for 15 minutes. Start living as if you are already free. Get your core desire and feeling in place. Oh, he's leaving, the neighborhood dog. He'll be back. He got tired of waiting. I don't know if he could actually see me up here. That's okay. He'll come back for sure. Why wouldn't he? There's like an endless buffet of snacks here. Start living as if you are already free. Pray and believe you already have it. Act as if. Feel as if. How would you hold your spine? What would your posture look like if you were already wealthy, powerful, strong, healthy? Would you be slumping out the door, or would you be waltzing out the door with some sass in your ass? What would be different? What's going to be different when you're a multimillionaire? What's going to be different when you can fit in the pants you want to fit in? Go ahead and feel that now. Cut out the middleman. Go directly for that feeling now. Yeah, it's pretend. Body doesn't know the difference between pretend and not. Don't believe me? Imagine biting into a lemon right now and watch what happens. Whether you believe in law of attraction or not doesn't really factor into this, because you really boil down to two choices. How do you want to spend your days? Your limited amount of days on this life. Do you want to feel good during your day, or do you want to be a whiny mess with your head stuck in a bucket of ice cream? Seriously, how do you want to do it? If you could just decide, I want to feel the whole range of human emotion, meaning that I'm going to feel anger and irritation and sadness and grief and all the range of that. And I'm also going to raise my happiness threshold and let myself feel the full range on the other spectrum of mild contentment, total satisfaction, ridiculous ecstasy, absolute giddiness, total joy, hop up and down excitement. You can let yourself have that too. If there was a cabal of lizard people, if the patriarchy is entrancing women into silence by making them feel awful about their bodies, joy and fearlessness, passion and illuminated hearts would defeat them. What do you think is going to defeat them? You being miserable, stuck in a diet? You're here too? Have you guys been here this whole time and now pictures are just now showing up? That's weird. Your chat was gone. Oh, for like 15 or 20 minutes it looked like it was just me and Mom here. That's bizarre, isn't it? I see you now. I didn't see you earlier though. Michelle, I saw you about 5 or so minutes ago. Isn't that strange? Who else is here? You've been here about 5 minutes? Okay. So fascinating. I wonder what is going on. Maybe I need to uninstall and reinstall my Periscope app because it's been awful glitchy. Okay, I want to read that again. Who is more likely to defeat whatever system might be trying to keep you oppressed? A weak and miserable woman dieting constantly, unhappy all the time, depressed because she's not being in her authentic self, or someone who is living their passion to whatever degree you can. You can't go from 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds because you're not a jaguar. But you can today ask yourself, what does bring me to life? What does give me an illuminated heart? Joy and fearlessness, passion and illuminated hearts will defeat anything trying to keep you down, including your own well-trained negative mindset. I was trying to combine negative and mindset, I think. Negaset. Negativiset. The miraculous thing is we already have these tools, but we are not using them. There isn't a someday, there never was. No one has ever been to the future that you keep putting your life on hold for. All we ever have is now, and if you continually put your life on hold for what your life will be like tomorrow or next year, or when you finally lose that weight, or when you finally get that money, you won't recognize that you already have what you want, because you will have spent years training yourself to want, not to have. That is a massively big statement. When you finally get what you want, you won't even recognize it, because you have trained yourself in the pursuit of. This is why people have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank and are still pursuing more, and feel broke, because they are in the mindset of pursuit of the goal, which means you can never arrive. Imagine what you could do if you stopped turning your energy against yourself and use it instead to question what you've been hypnotized into believing about the size of your body or the number in your bank account, and to speak up for what matters to you and your children. What would happen if one woman spoke the truth? Asked the poet Muriel Rukeyser. The world would split open, she said. Let that one woman be you. Ooh, that's good. The next chapter is the Red String Project. We'll do that one on Friday morning, because it's a complex chapter and it's a really powerful exercise with the red string. So I'm going to leave that one for Friday so we can really talk just about that. And then find yourself a journal. And if you don't like to journal, keep a log. Lots of people don't really enjoy writing about their feelings. But what you can do is every day you can jot down how you're feeling and how you want to feel. 2 sentences. What your mood is in the morning or what your mood is at night, so that you can start to see that, first of all, one mood is really not your whole existence. So people in depression, we often do this as therapists with people who are experiencing depression, because when you're in depression, you think that's all you feel. And when you keep a mood journal, a mood log, you start to see that it's bigger some days and smaller. And even throughout the day, there are moments where you don't feel so depressed. So it's to show you that there is a variety. Yeah, quick notes and a card, so that you can start to see what is your general pattern. If you set your alarm to go off 3 times a day, and you carry a lovely traveler's notebook with you everywhere, or even just a spiral notebook, just jot down 3 times a day, what are you feeling? What are you thinking? What's going on in that moment the alarm goes off? Just to see what it is you're up to. We have those big blind spots. We can't see ourselves. So keeping a log like that, even for 2 weeks, if you set yourself a 2-week goal, like I'm going to track what in the hell I'm doing 3 times a day for 2 weeks, you'll be shocked. You may be shocked at how negative you are. You may be shocked at how often you're anxious and worried, and just generalized anxiety, not even about anything in particular. It's helpful to know how pervasive. Oh my God, there's a hummingbird. Oh, he's so cute. He's got a little red throat. He's probably after the geraniums. They can't get food out of the geranium though, right? I should go get a hummingbird feeder. Here's my fear about that. If I have a hummingbird feeder, am I providing cat snacks? Very beautiful cat snacks. Remember, one got caught last year, and I don't even know if it survived. I helped it escape the jaws of death, but I don't know if it lived. I must think on this. Yeah, so a hummingbird, that's a sign for all of us. You who are here now, you who are replay viewers, a little hummingbird was just within inches of the camera. I wish I could have shown you to him, but they're like this. Anyway, so when you take in your baseline, see if you can slide some joy in there. See if you can slide in some hummingbird energy, some effervescent, bubbly joyfulness. Not the kind of manic happiness, but the soft, gentle, everything's okay. You can let yourself relax. Being tense about it, I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but it hasn't solved your problem. Worrying about your problem hasn't fixed it, has it? Because probably you've been dealing with this for a while. I'm going to say we're talking about chronic shit here. Not the weed, but the time. Chronic, over and over, year after year of dealing with whatever your problem is. I'm a little bossy today. Get your journal. Set your alarm clock. Track your moods. See what you're doing. Come and tell me on the Facebook page, and let's help you shift that. It's not hard. Let me say this. It's not complicated. There is some discipline involved, and that can feel hard when you're not used to it. But it is so fixable. It is so, whatever you're struggling with can be alleviated in a moment. So come and tell me. If you're in the Shadow Blessings group, just drop it in the Shadow Blessings group. And if you're in that group, I'll coach you. Come to the Shadow Blessings group with a problem and ask for coaching, and I'll coach you. We'll do a live, or you're feeling defeated, you choose calm. I'm feeling defeated, I choose to reveal my power. You're feeling defeated in one direction, put your focus on another direction and let that defeated dead end zone take care of itself. The Shadow Blessings group you can find at the website too. So if you go to the link in the title, just leave off that end. Just go to thatmichellewolf.com and look for Shadow Blessings, and you can join us in that group where there's a lot of free stuff and more free stuff coming. You guys, you ladies, you beautiful peoples, there's more coming. So, I think that's all I have. I mean, I could go on, but I really do need to do my daily practice. And I have some client sessions this afternoon. That's fun for me. So, and I need to shift some cats around, and it looks like I need to go buy a hummingbird feeder. All right, thanks for joining me. If you were here and I couldn't see you, sorry. If you watched the replay, and I have a dog to feed, a neighborhood abandoned, whatever. Don't get me started on that one, because that is a negative track. All right, I love you so much. Beauty Counter Raisin. There's a card reading at the beginning of this scope, so go back and watch the replay if you want. It's not in depth or anything. I just pulled a card and gave a quick overview. All right, I love you, and I'll see you Friday morning. The wind's blowing. Maybe it'll blow me another hummingbird.